You know, I sparred them twice.
Right.
First
If
time
Bill,
his father took him out the ring. I almost knocked him out in Floyd gym. Did they tell you that?
That he once knocked Shakur Stevenson out during a sparring session, saying he left him on the floor and unable to continue. While Shakur responded that he prefers not to focus on the back and forth, but made it clear that if there is any real issue between them, it should be handled inside the boxing ring.
He was scared. No, I got in the ring, one hand in there, and came out victorious.
The real boxers, real people, fans of
Sure.
you in the sport, and
But it's people out there that really painted an image as if like you'll see the memes. They got a meme of me like I'm running this shit.
I remember.
But like, come on,
It's the memes. It's memes.
memes. You know what the memes is.
The memes.
No, like they got them shits, and it's like they painted an image as if like I'm not who I am, but I know who I am.
Shakur Stevenson explained that his rivalry with Tank Davis became stronger as both fighters kept improving and the competition increased, adding that they each have the same goal of being the best, and because of that shared ambition, the dynamic between them changed naturally over time.
There was a time where you guys were pretty cool, right?
Yeah, for sure.
What changed?
Competition. As you get older, you start to know what competition is, and he kind of looked at me like I feel like I was a threat, which is rightfully so. Like I don't blame him for the way that he looked at me, but it is what it is. It's two guys that just want to be the best in our sport, and we were ready to lay it all on the line.
Did he say to you like, yo, I don't want to be friends, or we can't, or is it just like a gradual thing where it started to become more distant?
Now you
Recognized Shakur Stevenson's skills, but he also challenged both Stevenson and Keyshawn Davis, pointing out that while they have accused Tank Davis of avoiding major fights, they have not faced each other either. He added that if none of them are willing to step up and compete against one another, then the responsibility cannot be placed on Tank alone.
Too, bro. And let me take it even further. You guys are complaining about Tank. I'm not fighting you guys and seeing how great he can be. Well, it's like I can put y'all in the same senses as Tank. Since y'all don't want to fight each other. Y'all ain't no better than
Rolando Romero raised concerns about how Shakur Stevenson would handle the punching power of Gervonta Davis, saying that in Shakur's fight against Edwin de los Santos, he seemed to box carefully and spent a lot of time moving around the ring. Romero suggested that going up against a strong and aggressive fighter like Davis would create even more pressure, and in his opinion, that kind of matchup would likely be tough and uncomfortable for
De Los Santos or Gervonta Davis? Who's a bigger puncher?
Gervonta.
Okay, and Shakur jumped around the ring like a grasshopper with De Los Santos. Do you think that's going to happen again with Gervonta?
Well, he was hurt. He had an injured hand.
Yeah, his coochie hurt. Anyways, do you think he's going to jump around and be on... Bro, he might jump out the ring.
You think so, bro? I'm not.
Bro, if he out with De Los Santos, you think he's not going to out even more with Gervonta? An explosive puncher with Shakur spell-ass hands who can't even crack it.
Romero praised Shakur Stevenson's boxing ability, saying he may be the most skilled and well-rounded pure boxer of this generation, highlighting his strong basics and smooth technique. But he also felt that Shakur sometimes concentrates too much on managing the fight instead of trying to stop his opponents, adding that a fighter with his level of talent should push harder and aim to close the show with a clear and strong finish.
I want to see him actually try.
I mean, again, you're entitled to your opinion. I can't. You know what I mean? Like
I said, Shakur is a tremendous boxer.
He is.
He is of our generation. He might be the best clean-cut boxer there is. There's no. He's for sure the most clean-cut boxer of our generation. But he doesn't even try to knock people out.
Well, maybe it's because...
In an interview with Stephen A. Smith, Shakur Stevenson talked with confidence about where he stands in boxing, saying he does not need any one fighter to validate his greatness because his record and achievements already show what he can do. However, when asked about the matchups he would love most, he admitted that the fight that interests him the most is against Tank Davis, a clash he believes would draw massive attention from fans around
A
the
lot of money, so for me, I really don't even like.
You don't
talk
need
about it.
anybody. Even Terrence Crawford felt he needed Canelo. Even Terrence Crawford felt he needed Errol Spence. He needed those big fights. There's not a big fight that you think you need.
I don't need nobody.
Nobody.
I think that at the end of the day, if things gonna make sense, it's gonna make sense, and I'm just following God's plan.
Mm-hmm. Is there a particular fight that you want more than any other fight out there?
That fight that you just said, I would love to fight still to this day, but
Which one? Garcia or Gervonta?
not a fight you just said. That fight.
Gervonta. So that's what I want.
I would love that.
Former kickboxer Chris Algieri analyzed a possible fight between Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Davis, pointing out Davis's dangerous one-punch knockout power, but also saying that he usually begins fights cautiously while studying his opponent. Algieri praised Stevenson's fight intelligence, his control of distance, and his skill at neutralizing opponents, describing those strengths as possibly the best in boxing. And he also stressed that both fighters are in their prime right now and should face each other soon, ideally before they move into their early 30s, because this matchup could be very important for their careers.
That's a whole nother story. Now we're talking, like, we were talking about it. People are like, I think Tank's trainer. Because now a 50-50 fight, because Tank has that one-punch power. If Shakur falls behind, how's he going to get back? Well, Shakur doesn't generally fall behind. And Davis tends to start slow. He's picking up, he's analyzing what's going on. He's a very high boxing IQ as well. People don't give him credit for that. Tank can box. But Shakur's ability to, like I said, to judge distance and disarm his opponents is his best ability. Probably the best in the world at doing that. That's a matchup, man, that it needs to be. It needs to happen. It needs to happen soon. It needs to happen soon. These guys can't be 30, 40 years old when this fight happens. They need to be doing this, sub 30 and okay.
Matchup, and said he slightly favors Shakur Stevenson because of his strong discipline both in training and in the ring, noting that Shakur showed great focus in his fight against Edwin de los Santos, while Gervonta "Tank" Davis has sometimes had issues with consistency. However, Jones also emphasized that when Tank is fully focused and mentally sharp, his talent, power, and natural abilities make him a serious danger for any opponent in boxing matchup, and said he slightly favors Shakur Stevenson because of his strong discipline both in training and in the ring.
Because of his discipline, because he showed against Teofimo that he stayed very disciplined all night, and he's the type of guy, he don't really do a lot of crazy stuff in his life normally, so it's like discipline is a thing that is not only exercised inside the ring, it's exercised also outside the ring. And as we see, sometimes Gervonta has problems with discipline, but we have never seen Shakur have problems with this. We've seen him be more disciplined at right times than we've seen him not have discipline. So with the fight being like it is right now, I would lean towards Shakur because of his discipline, but don't get it twisted. If somebody could beat him, Tank Davis would be that person because of his intangibles. When Tank is disciplined and got his mind on right, Tank's a problem for anybody. Tank can fight better than most people.
Roy Jones Jr. continued his analysis by explaining that Shakur Stevenson's defensive approach helps him avoid taking much damage in fights, allowing him to recover quickly and stay consistently active for big opportunities. He also mentioned that a potential fight with Devin Haney could be very competitive since many of these top fighters are familiar with each other from sparring, but in his opinion, the biggest challenges for Shakur at this stage would come from facing Gervonta Davis or Keyshawn Davis.
Why can't he keep fighting? He ain't getting hurt. He was having a rough night with black eyes and bruised ribs and stuff. Then you got to not fight some of those kind of fights. But nobody can push him to that point yet. So he can fight whoever he needs to fight.
What would him and Devin look like in the ring?
It's like a good fight because, the good thing about all these kids nowadays is most of them have sparred one another and they know each other pretty good. So with them knowing each other like that, they're going to be competitive matches because they've already sparred. They know what they're looking for. Coming up in the amateurs, that's what costs a lot of guys because they go to those amateur camps and they spar with all these other guys. But one day y'all will be pro. A lot of y'all will be.
Porter said that the biggest fights usually reveal a fighter's true boxing intelligence, explaining that real ring IQ appears when someone must adapt and change strategy during the fight. He referenced his own bout with Terrence Crawford as an example, noting that both fighters had to make adjustments throughout the match, and based on that experience, Porter believes Gervonta "Tank" Davis would bring a sharper and more focused version of himself against Shakur Stevenson, prepared to adjust and compete directly with Shakur's style inside the ring.
Those are the kind of people that's going to pull it out of him. So with a fight with Shakur, you're going to see this boxing style that you don't usually get from Tank. You're going to see IQ. We saw IQ, but to me, it was low IQ because the reason why I was low IQ is because everybody followed the script. And what I mean by that is you see somebody's IQ take place when a fighter makes an adjustment, and now you have to adjust to what that fighter is doing. And that's kind of where you see
who's smart,
you know what I mean?
Who get a hold of it.
I think my fight with Terrence shows a very high level of IQ from both of us. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And that's what Tank is gonna do with Shakur. He's gonna come into the ring and be a different version.
Porter shared that he believes many fans are mistaken in thinking Gervonta "Tank" Davis would easily knock out Shakur Stevenson, explaining that Shakur's solid defense and smart ring skills make him very difficult to beat. And he added that Tank has likely respected Shakur's abilities for a long time. Because of this, Porter expects that if they face each other, the fight would probably be a close and tactical battle where both boxers must remain fully focused from the opening bell to the final round.
Said everybody thinks that Tank is gonna go in there and just knock out Shakur. It's gonna
That's not gonna happen.
But it didn't take. It shouldn't have taken this fight.
I knew he couldn't.
For people to realize, right?
I knew that too. But yeah, Shakur is a defensive specialist.
And I've been saying this for a long time. If you pay attention to how Tank would react whenever Shakur's name came up, I was like, yo, it's something that Tank knows that most people don't know or understand. There's something that he sees in Shakur. It could be the fact that Shakur was a 2016 silver medalist. You know,
he's got a lot to do with it.
He's that, you know, the silver child of the country, and you know, there's no telling. But this is what I've always known. It ain't just a big straight left or a big left right hook coming from Tank that's going to end that night. That night is going to be the most strategical you've seen both these guys.
Crawford spoke highly of Gervonta "Tank" Davis, describing him as a talented fighter with real power and solid boxing skills. And he made it clear that he respects what Tank can do inside the ring, even if they don't always see eye to eye on matters outside of boxing. When discussing a potential fight with Shakur Stevenson, Crawford said it would likely be extremely competitive and could go either way. But he personally gives a slight edge to Shakur to win.
I mean, I respect him as a fighter. Yeah. You know, he definitely got skills. He got power. He got tremendous boxing ability. But like his core personality and his ways, nah.
Okay. Nah. Obviously, your little brother, you know what I'm saying, Shakur, that's the fight. Everybody want to see that. That's the 50-50, I think, you know what I'm saying? I've been saying 50-50. I told both of them that. That's a toss-up to me. No bias. Don't just say that because it's your man. Who you got winning that?
I got Shakur.
Are you saying that because that's your man and you don't like Tank?
No. Hey, like I said, I respect Tank. Like, boxing,
Terrence Crawford continued by saying that Shakur Stevenson brings a unique style to the ring. And while some people criticize him for being too defensive or question his punching power, Crawford pointed out that similar doubts were once directed at Floyd Mayweather because of his technical approach. He believes Tank Davis would find it difficult to connect cleanly against Shakur compared to many of his other opponents. And he also highlighted that Stevenson has already captured world titles in several weight divisions, proving his success and achievements in boxing.
Yeah, Shakur is different. You know, people may call him boring. People may say he can't punch. But they say the same thing about Floyd. Because they defensive fighters.
Yeah.
Tank is not going to be able to hit Shakur like he hit everybody else. And he know that. He knows that. That's why he's like, he's boring. He's this, he's that. He's trying to diminish everything that Shakur have done. So it's not marketable. But he can't do that because Shakur is what? 3-weight world champion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
you see right now.
Like how many actual real titles have Shakur? I mean,
discussions about a possible fight continued. Canelo Alvarez shared his opinion on a matchup between Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Davis, saying that Shakur is a very talented boxer who moves well and is hard to hit, but he still gives the edge to Davis because of his strong punching power and aggressive pressure style. Canelo added that if he had to choose a winner, he would place his bet on Davis.
Put money on the fight. I know you don't bet on fights. And the fight was Gervonta Davis against Shakur Stevenson. Who would you say would win?
Look, Shakur Stevenson is a good fighter. He moves a lot, and it's very difficult to get hit. To hit him. But I like Gervonta Davis.
Okay.
He's a really good fighter. He hits hard, and he knows how to go forward. So,
rising boxer Abdullah Mason shared that he slightly favors Shakur Stevenson if he meets Gervonta "Tank" Davis in the ring, explaining that Tank's recent performance changed his view of the matchup. Mason said he did not expect Lamont Roach to perform so well, especially after taking Tank's power and continuing to fight with confidence. And that experience made him realize Davis can face tougher challenges than many fans expected, which is why he now believes Stevenson could have a small advantage in that potential fight.